All right, startup founders, let's face it. It's very easy to overlook the huge legal landmine that comes with fundraising. And I've seen so many founders stumble, not because they weren't smart enough. Some of the smartest did, not because they weren't experienced enough or their ideas were not good enough. It's just because they overlooked the fine print. And I'm here today to make sure that's not going to be you. Hi, I'm Sarah Mana, a corporate and securities lawyer qualified in New York and England and Wales. I work with startup founders, private fund managers, and fintech companies to help them navigate their structuring, formation, fundraising, compliance, and many other things. Today, I'm counting down the top 5 legal mistakes startups make when fundraising and showing you exactly how to avoid them. All right, let's go. Mistake number 5. Handshake deals are fine between friends and family. I mean, we love each other, we grow together, we help each other through life. This is great. The thing is, without a clear agreement, your cousin Dave thinks he owns 20% of your company, you think he lent you money for tacos, and before you know it, it's Christmas Eve and dinner gets very awkward. Always put things in writing. Anything you want to enforce, it has to be in writing, because money, unfortunately, can sour even the sweetest relationships. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need 1,000 documents. You don't need something so intimidating. You can use something like a simple agreement for future equity, a SAFE, or a convertible note. And that basically allows your cousin Dave to receive equity when you do get valuation and you do get proper documentation. Think of it like relationship insurance. Everyone's happy, no one's suing you. Christmas Eve is saved again. Mistake number 4, we don't need to worry about securities laws, right? Yes, you do. That's the biggest myth. I've heard it so many times. We're just raising from family and friends. We're just raising $50,000, getting maybe $2,000 from each person and whatever. The truth is, if you're raising capital, you're offering securities. If you're offering securities, you are subject to securities laws. Now, what do these securities laws say? They say that you have to register the securities you're offering unless you benefit from an exemption. Now, it's your lucky day. There are so many exemptions, of course. It depends on your business model. It depends on your objectives. But the main one you would look at would be the private placement exemption, Regulation D. Now, Regulation D offers a few exemptions, including 504, 506, the main one, 506B and 506C, and there are a few more, but it's always going to depend on who you're raising from, which states, how many states are you going to be raising from, how much money, and the status of the investors that you're targeting, whether you want to be able to publicly advertise or not, or are you going to be raising funds from people you already know. So all of these things will allow you to pick the right exemption and then comply with their conditions. So that means you cannot publicly advertise the way you want to unless it fits within one of the exemptions and you are making sure you're complying with all the conditions, not just one of them. Other than Regulation D, there is Regulation CF, crowdfunding, and in order for you to benefit from that exemptions, you have to make sure you're complying with conditions. If you're still confused, and I know it can get quite confusing, all these securities laws and exemptions and registration and all of that, please let me know in the comment section and I will try to prepare a video in the future that dives into this further. Mistake number 3, finding agreements off Google or ChatGPT Esquire and just using them without customizing them. I mean, it's the fast food of legal agreements. It's cheap, it's easy, it's convenient until you're stuck with indigestion later on and it's too late. Here's a true story. I had two co-founders that came to me to help them with the documentation for their business. Now that business had a management company, and that management company, when I asked them about it, they said, we already formed it, don't worry about it. We took care of it. You know, they went to ChatGPT Esquire, one of my biggest competitors. And I said, fine, because I understood that, you know, they were bootstrapped and they thought, what could go wrong? And what could go wrong happened very quickly 3 months later when they couldn't agree on the direction of the business. So when you disagree, you part ways. And one of them wanted to buy out the other, but the other didn't want to be bought out. And now we have to look at the operating agreement finally. And then the operating agreement didn't have any provision to cover buyout, to cover dispute resolution, or to cover valuation process. And now it's a mess. If they had let me look at their operating agreement, I would have seen, well, this is an LLC with two managers. What happens if they disagree? This is the first thing that I would think of. And I would include the shotgun clause where when they disagree, one of them is able to buy out the other, and there is a detailed enough process to make it enforceable. And then you would have the valuation process to avoid any arguments on price. So ChatGPT can be very slick because it expresses itself pretty well. So it does sound smart and you think, yeah, this must be it. But ChatGPT does not know you enough, and it doesn't know the details of your business. It doesn't know the different challenges that may come up. Mistake number 2, not planning for future dilution. This is a very easy mistake to make because in the beginning you have 100% and you're giving away 10, 15, 20% and you're thinking, well, I still keep 70%, I still keep 75%. But now fast forward to seed, raise, Series A, Series B, hopefully Series C, and then you find yourself owning 8% and you're thinking, how did I get here? When did that happen? How did that happen? And that's because at the very beginning, at the onset, you did not plan for future fundraise. And you can do that using a cap table. You have to have a cap table and you have to be able to project your ownership through different valuations. And now you want to tell me, well, Sarah, 8% of $1 billion or $100 billion, that's still wonderful. And I don't care that I get only 8% of that. Well, you should care because that means control. Percentage of equity always means control. It means control when you want to change the bylaws. And if you have control to change the bylaws, you have control to change how they get to kick you out. And so you don't want to get to a point in your own company where you have to fight to stay on the board. And I think this is something to always think about before you even start the company. And you have to always make sure that your control of your own company is not slipping away. And finally, the number one mistake I see all the time is skipping legal or financial advice to save a few dollars. Listen, I understand. When your business is bootstrapped, every dollar counts, and it's very easy to think, well, I can do my research myself, I can find all of this and figure things out all by myself. The thing is, a good lawyer will be able to spot red flags and save you thousands, even perhaps millions down the line. Think of it like this: you can't build a house without a blueprint. Your business deserves the same solid foundation. Here's an example. It's payday, you finally get a VC willing to invest the millions that you need, and excited, you just signed the term sheet and you signed the documents, and you realize that you just agreed to 2x liquidation preference, which means the VC gets paid double before you even see a penny. You just agreed to anti-dilution clauses that crush you during future raises. Just agree to board control terms that give way too much power to the VC, more than you were actually willing to agree to. And there are many other things and many other pitfalls that an experienced lawyer is able to foresee. These are the top 5 legal mistakes, in my opinion, that you can make during fundraising. There are also many others that I can touch on in future videos. Feel free to give me your feedback and any questions you might have. Of course, nothing I say here can substitute actual legal advice from an attorney that knows you and knows your business and knows your needs. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.